Good morning, everyone. I think still morning time. Hope you're having a great day so far. We're going to get started with the webinar officially at 12 p.m. Hello, thank you for using the chat. Yes, please say hello to us in the chat. That's where you're going to be asking all your questions. So we want to make sure you know where is that located. Hello, thank you for being here. Good afternoon. Yeah, now it's about 1 minute before. Hello, everyone. Let us know where you are watching from. I know it's about lunchtime for everyone. I'm sure you're going to enjoy some lunch and a afternoon full of information. We got a lot of Houston, Cypress offices. Nice. Well, I see 12 p.m. on my clock, and I would like to be respectful of everyone's time. We have a lot of information to share with you here today. For starters, my name is Mary Angie Carbiles. I am the Professional Development Department Manager. Welcome to today's webinar, which is an affordable housing series that we started at the beginning of this year. We're happy that you're here to keep yourself informed as well as your customers. We have a lot of good information, but before we get started, I would like to remind everyone that today's webinar is being recorded, and I will share a link to the recording once the webinar is over. So be on the lookout for that, and I will share a lot of good information via email as a follow-up email after this webinar. Also, this webinar is not for CE credit, so you won't be on camera, but please use the chat to ask any questions you might have throughout the webinar. We'll make sure to answer those as time permits. Now, I would like to share my screen and let you know to take a second just to read the HAR Statement of Antitrust and Compliance for all meetings and events. Thank you much for taking a second to read the antitrust statement from HAR. And now it is my absolute pleasure to introduce today's sponsors, Brandon Polito. Brandon is the sponsor for all the affordable housing webinar series, where we are very excited to have a sponsor that supports affordable housing and supports the system and supports HAR. So thank you so much, Brandon, for being here today with us.
Thanks, Mary Angie. So I'll just take a couple of quick moments of your time just to tell you who I am and a couple interesting products that might help some of your potential buyers. So I'm Brandon Polito with Supreme Lending. Supreme Lending is a private company based out of Dallas, Texas. They've been in business for over 30 years. So we have every single product under the sun. But a few of them that relates to first-time home buyers and affordable housing. We do have several. We work with TDHCA, TSHAC, so we have all of those wonderful programs available. We also do have a few new ITIN programs also. So for some of those maybe non-traditional buyers that certainly help the state of Texas and help the country, we've got some great programs for them as well. So a couple that I wanted to kind of touch on, we do have, when you look at TDHCA and TSHAC, you know, they have some of those programs that come with repayable second, but there are also several of those that come with just a grant, which does help with their debt to income and their budget ratio. So I like to try to utilize some of those programs that have grant specific properties, and that way they only have that one mortgage payment to pay. So we can utilize that through TDHCA and TSHAC, as well as some other programs. And we also do have a Chenoa fund, and a Chenoa fund is put on by an Indian reservation that they do nationwide, and that is also available in the way of a grant. We also have Freddie Mac has a grant. So there's a lot of different ways to help as many people as we can to get into a property. For some of the clients that you might come in contact with that do have their down payment and so on and so forth, a couple quick programs to mention. We do have a interest rate buy down program that is not an adjustable. So basically, let's say, for example, if they lock in today at 6.8%, their rate for the first 12 months will be fixed at 5.8%, then revert back to 6.8%. So that definitely helps bridge that gap. I think everybody's anticipating interest rates to probably have a bit of a reduction as we get closer to the election, which happens pretty much all the time. So if you do take advantage of the buy down program, you can buy a house today, get into that buy down for a lower rate. And when rates dip, you can also refinance that to lock in that lower rate, hopefully lower than what you initially got. If you do refinance, I'll take care of all of the lender fees, so I'll waive all of those. And then the last product I wanted to quickly touch on, we do one-time construction. So one-time construction means that you can purchase the land and the build all in one loan. You don't have to own the land first. You don't have to do a separate loan for the land. And we can do barn dominiums, mobile homes, modular homes, single wide, double wide. And those apply to any loan program. So 3.5% down FHA, 100% VA financing, 5% down conventional. So most other entities are going to ask for 20 to 25% down for that particular product. We do those all over, and it's a quick and easy process. So again, I'm really excited to be the sponsor. Mary Angie has done a great job in allowing me to do that. And I look forward to answering any questions that you guys have before, during, or after the webinar. So thank you so much. And Mary Angie, I'm going to throw it back to you.
Thank you so much, Brandon. And I've shared Brandon's contact information in the chat, so please take a moment to copy and paste somewhere safe. Brandon is available for you guys. And thank you so much, Brandon, for supporting the affordable housing series. It is very important series for us, and we are thankful that we have sponsors to support this cause. Now, it is a pleasure to me to introduce today's subject matter experts to the affordable housing webinar. It's empowering your home buyers. And I would like to start with you, Monica. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're here, and we are excited to hear from you.
Absolutely. So we are so honored to be part of the webinar series with HAR. I'm Monica LaCrue. I'm an affordable lending manager here at Freddie Mac, and I work with different trade associations, real estate companies, state and local realtor boards to educate real estate professionals about affordable lending products, right? We often know that you guys are the first person that a home buyer is going to reach out to when they start their home ownership journey. And so just by having a little bit of knowledge about affordable lending products, you're better equipped to help more buyers, right? You know, you have great partners like Brandon with Supreme Lending who are going to be out there and provide all the tools and products, right? But just having a little bit of knowledge is going to better prepare you. Honored to be with one of our borrower help centers here today to talk about, other resources and tools that are available to you. So I'll pass it over to my colleague here, or my partner here, to introduce herself as well before I share my screen and we get started.
My apologies. Hello, my name is Kayada Brown. I am the center manager for D&E. We are a HUD-approved housing counseling agency, and we provide pre-purchase counseling, foreclosure prevention, homebuyer education workshops for anyone seeking to become a first-time home buyer.
Awesome. Well, we're going to both be co-presenting today and giving you some knowledge about empowering your home buyer and some resources and tools that are out there. So I just want to start again by reminding everybody kind of how Freddie Mac impacts the industry. So we were chartered by Congress in 1970 to keep money flowing to mortgage lenders in support of home ownership and rental housing, right? We operate on the secondary mortgage market, which means we don't lend money directly. We buy mortgages from our approved lenders. We pull those mortgages into securities and sell those securities to investors worldwide. That is allowing our lender partners to go out there and continue to lend to more of your clients. Our mission is to promote liquidity, stability, affordability, and equality in housing. We're dedicated to stabilizing communities, expanding credit responsibly, and supporting affordable rental housing. We have three main lines of business. Our single family, that's where where I sit. That's 1 to 4 units. We also have a multifamily department as well as our capital markets team. So we know right now that it takes many different team members and partners to make a housing transaction happen, right? You as a real estate professional are working with many different organizations as well as your lending partners to really help your client make home ownership a reality for them, right? You're working with government entities, your lender partners, appraisers, and one company that you might not be working with are some nonprofits and our Freddie Mac Borrower Help Centers, right? We often know that sometimes a buyer might come to you and might not be ready yet to purchase. What resources and tools are you providing to them to make sure that you're getting them on the path to home ownership? There's a lot of companies out there that are offering resources, and sometimes they're free, to be able to help prepare for responsible and sustainable home ownership. So if you have a client who comes to you who might need a little bit of hand-holding, might need some resources in language, might need some education as it comes to, financial knowledge. And we are going to provide some of those resources with you today, because we know that everybody is at a different part of their journey, and we want to make sure that we're helping all of our clients, right? So this slide comes from a recent survey that we did of our real estate professionals a few years ago. And what we learned is that only 1 in 8 real estate professionals were actually using and partnering with housing counseling or financial coaching agencies, right? And this is really an untapped resource that is out there and available to you, right? There's this misconception out there that if you're working with a nonprofit that you might lose that particular client, and that is not the case at all, right? They are just providing resources to your clients. That is still your client, and you want to continue to work with them to make sure that you're checking in and they're following the path that you gave them to make sure that ultimately they'll come back to you to operate that transaction. So everything that we cover in the event today is really just additional resources that's designed to you to reach more buyers. I want to draw your attention to, the partnerships here that we have, that a lot of our diverse communities are often sometimes using some of these resources, right? So we know that there's a desire from our diverse community to work with nonprofits and housing counseling agencies to just gain knowledge about the home buying process, right? And so you want to make sure, as we know, that the majority of many first-time home buyers are coming from our diverse communities. We want to make sure that we're partnering with them and using the tools and resources that they are seeking to use when they start their home ownership journey. So now I'll go ahead and pass it over to my co-presenter here, and we'll get started.
Thank you so much for that. And again, thank you guys for the invitation to share information today with the realtors online. But again, my name is Kayada Brown. I am the HUD certified housing counselor for D&E. D&E is a HUD approved housing counseling agency and a Freddie Mac Borrower Help Center. We are located in rural Mississippi, so southern Mississippi, but we do have our primary office in Atlanta, Georgia. We have several banking professionals and training experts with over 100 years of combined experience. We have been committed to provide as much information as we possibly can to the communities that we service. And because we are, again, a HUD-approved housing counseling agency, the services that we do provide are at no cost to the participants. It's just invest some of their time. Next slide, please. So again, we provide education that the community can bank on. We assist with transforming lives, renewing the mindsets, understanding financial literacy and the importance of being credit worthy. We assist with restoring the dignity and the hope across the underserved communities that we partner with. We try to help bridge the gaps between like the financial institutions and their communities, allowing people to understand what it means to have a bank account, a successful bank account, adequate savings and things like that. So we merge the needs between like the traditional banking so that everyone can be as informed as possible so that we can decrease a lot of the predatory lending practices that people may encounter. Next slide. D&E's mission is to develop and empower the underserved populations through sustainable housing programs, services, resources that activate greater engagement in an economical and societal mainstream. My apologies. Next slide, please. Again, some of the services that we provide here at D&E, we do financial capability workshops. We talk about affordable housing and sustainable housing, leadership development, youth and senior empowerment programs. And we also have a program for anyone seeking to take and pass the licensure program to become a certified teacher or a certified educator. So we have several different programs that work together with not just the individual, but with the entire community so that everyone can be as self-sufficient as possible. Next slide, please. Again, D&E's vision is to focus on developing people, empowering community, and changing lives. And some of the core ways that we do that is by outreach and education. We do firmly believe that by providing adequate outreach and education, it will yield an economic empowerment for the individuals that we service. And again, our goal is to allow people to become as financially savvy as possible so that they can become a self-sufficient or a dedicated person within their community. Next slide. D&E's purpose, again, is just bringing all individuals and the communities together full circle. So we strongly believe that it's each one teach one. So the information that we do share out in our virtual homebuyer education workshops, we host those 3 times a month. The person will only need to attend one workshop, and then after that workshop, we will follow up with an individual telephone session or virtual session, and we do 30-day increments after that. We try to focus on at least 3 goals that a person should work on or 3 challenges, and we continue to build from that. So if someone is not homeowner ready, when they are referred to us, we work with them hand in hand to create a roadmap towards homeownership with them. And again, bridging the individuals, families, and communities together as a whole. Next slide, please. So here at D&E, we do work with first-time home buyers and current homeowners. We assist people with understanding the financial literacy aspect of banking, importance of savings. We don't fix credit, but we will assist the participants with understanding their credit reports, identifying ways to increase their credit scores, and any challenges that they may have on their credit report. We assist them with coming up with strategies to get those resolved versus going to a credit repair company. Again, the services that we do provide is at no cost. It will only cost the participants their time. Typically, our sessions, the individual sessions can last anywhere between 60 to 120 minutes. It does depend on where the person is. And again, we focus on 3 target obstacles and strategies at a time, and we will continue to build on those so that that person can increase their credit score and decrease their current spending or debt load so that they can yield the goal of becoming a first-time home buyer or refinancing. Again, we work together just to build stronger communities that dare to dream and dare to succeed. The only sessions that, and I see some of the questions in the chat box, and if it's okay, Monica, as I see them, I can respond to those questions. But for the virtual homebuyer education workshop, that person will only need to attend 1 session. The session will be that on a Saturday. Again, it's virtual. We do them for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Saturday of the month so that the person can identify which one works best for their schedule. We typically start at 9:00 a.m. and end around 2:30 p.m. But we have lenders that will be on that presentation sharing exactly what that person may need to know to become a first-time home buyer and working with the lender. We have real estate professionals that will be on letting them know what to bring in when they get ready to meet with them. We have home inspector that shares the importance of the home inspection process and what they can anticipate during that phase. And then we will round everything out with a homeowner insurance person so that we can focus on the preservation portion of the home buying process. Again, the services are at no cost to the participants. It will only cost their time. D&E does stand for develop and empower. So that's our primary goal. That's what we're trying to do, again, to provide as much education and information to the communities that we service. And even though we are housed in Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, I do work with participants across the United States. Because I am HUD certified and our counselors are HUD certified, the certificate of completion for attending their virtual home buyer education workshop does last for 1 full year from the date that they attended, and it can be used to satisfy any lender or down payment assistance programs that they may be seeking to do once they start their process. Next slide, please. Again, we work with 2 different aspects. We do group training, that's with our virtual home buyer education workshop. We do also host post-education workshop for current homeowners so that they can understand some of the verbiage and a lot of the things that they have that they may encounter as first-time home buyers. We talk about the importance of maintenance and upkeep, understanding how the escrow plays a factor into their affordability, and ways to maintain a steady budget and not overwhelm themselves with debt for at least the first 2 years of owning a home. We do provide rental education and one-on-one sessions for that as well. The one-on-one sessions will be with a HUD certified housing counselor, and we do credit counseling. Again, we don't fix credit, but we do assist the participants with understanding as much information as possible on their credit report, and any challenges that are listed, we work with them on creating strategies to get those resolved. If I can, just looking back at some of the questions. So again, you can go to our virtual home buyer education workshop. And again, on our website is at www.depower.org. And the first workshop and the last workshop listed will have a Georgia presenter, and the workshop that falls in the middle of the month has a Mississippi lender, but the information that is shared from each of the home buying professionals is general across the board. The referral program for us is that you can reach out to me or direct the person to our website. We do have a referral form that you can fill out, and if possible, at the conclusion of today's workshop, we can send that information out to everyone that's in attendance. So if you do have someone specifically that you would like for us to follow up on, we can do so. Okay, and again, we provide the financial capabilities and coaching for youth, adults, and seniors. I go into the school systems, to the local Boys and Girls Club, and I do share financial literacy information and education to youngsters. I feel that if you were to start at a younger age with understanding the importance of credit and the importance of being financially savvy, it can help you become better prepared as an adult. Again, we do credit coaching and counseling, education, and we also assess to see if a person is mortgage ready, short-term or long-term. We provide them with an affordability analysis, pending that they can provide us with the supporting documents that we will need to do that analysis for them. Next slide, please. Again, working with the consumers, understanding the importance of bank accounts, traditional, non-traditional banking, trying to understand the importance of, again, being financially savvy and spending wisely. We focus a lot on creating household budgets and working on understanding the difference between wants and needs, and increasing savings and decreasing debt. Again, it is a win-win situation for everyone who chooses to invest with us. We're doing this, and again, the services are at no cost. And the program that we create is tailor-made for each participant. So if that person just wants to come to the home buyer education workshop to get that information, they will then follow up with me for a scheduled appointment, provide the supporting documents, and then they can take the information that we give them and close their file. And we do have the option again where we can do 15 to 30-day follow-ups with that person for however long it may take to get them mortgage ready. Our goal is to create that realistic roadmap to get them home. All righty. And again, we work hand in hand with Freddie Mac Credit Smart platform. I utilize it myself because again, I feel that I have to be able to actually tell the person or the participants that we are working with how this actually works and how much of a benefit that program is. So again, we focus a lot on the managing the money aspect, same as the Freddie Mac Credit Smart platform, understanding income and affordability. Again, we live in a rural area, so there are a lot of different loan products available that a lot of people may not be privy to. Some of them will actually have down payments that are required between like 3 to 5%. It depends on the product, and some may require no down payment, similar to like a USDA type of loan. But understanding where they are, understanding their housing ratio, and their debt to income ratio for the affordability aspect of it is something that we do during the individual one-on-one telephone or virtual session. Understanding the basis of banking and savings. We identify information as it relates to high yield savings account, thinking like a lender, and providing them with the borrower basics. So a lot of the information that is on the Credit Smart platform, we incorporate those during our virtual home buyer education workshops and our individual sessions with the participants. Next slide. Next, please. During the post-purchase education and even the individual sessions with the participants, high credit counseling sessions, we talk a lot about predatory lending and understanding scams, understanding the verbiage in all of the contracts or the documentation or disclosures that they will be coming into contact with prior to them signing. So we like to go over all of that information, understanding the importance of being secure when providing your financial information or your personal information to anyone. We talk about the renters aspect of the home buying process, or just being an informed renter to understanding your rights. And we go into a lot of details with fair housing during our virtual workshops. We have an entire section right after the lender comes on and present their information on consumer protection laws. We want to make sure that everyone is as informed as possible prior to going to the closing table on where they stand. Next, please. And if I've missed any questions, I apologize for that. I'm sure, Ms. Monica, we may be able to circle back to answer some of the questions that I may have missed. But again, the services are free at no cost. The best thing about the Credit Smart platform is that it has so many different modules that an individual can go through. And again, they're going to share more information. Ms. Monica will after I finish on this. But the Credit Smart platform, it is available in Spanish, and they talk about introductory platforms for becoming a first-time home buyer or buying a home, understanding the basics of insurance, natural disasters, planning for your future, and wealth building. So it's so much information that, again, we try to work hand in hand with our Freddie Mac partners so that we can get out as much information, as much knowledge as possible, so that, again, prior to closing, prior to refinancing, that the participants have as much information as possible. Even if they are long-term, we want to make sure that they have as much information, and that when they do go to the table, that they are as prepared as possible. This is just a simulation of the Credit Smart suite and what you can anticipate on some of the platforms that they have. Again, amazing program. I use it for myself. I even have my 17-year-old. She has logged in and started doing hers. So it's sharing as much information as possible as it takes to working with the different team members that you may encounter throughout the home buying process, understanding that person's role, going through the homeownership education course, the certification that you may need for the Freddie Mac products, and things of that nature. Next slide, please. And I wanted to show, and again, they will share more information on this, what the platform actually looks like. It's very easy to navigate, user-friendly, and you're able to go back and review information again. You can update your goals that you have set for yourself. They give you different scenarios that you can kind of go through and identify which would be the best choice for those situations. Again, a great platform that can be not just for someone seeking to become a first-time homebuyer, but someone that is wanting more information on becoming financially fit and stable within their community. So just homeownership trivia. What are your thoughts about the current U.S. homeownership rate? It is declining. The affordability aspect of it has a lot of people, it depends on their areas. It's a buyer's market at this point. And again, certain areas that we do provide counseling for, the cost of living is steady rising, but the income remains the same, or that's at a base level. So a lot of homeownership rates are declining. We do see a lot of people when I do sessions in like Georgia or larger states or larger metropolitan cities, the seller has so many different offers at their disposal, and it's making it so unaffordable for people to even provide the earnest money. Here in Mississippi, someone can do $500 for earnest money. In some of the larger cities, it can go anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500. So just having that come out of the upfront costs can knock a lot of people out of being able to afford it. And again, when it comes to the homeowners insurance aspect of it, certain areas, Louisiana, southern Mississippi, on down by the coast, the insurance rates are so high that it knocks them out of being able to afford it. So the homeowner rates are on a steady decline, even though we do see people still purchasing, but not as many as there were prior to COVID. Okay, next slide, please. So again, the Census Bureau Housing Vacancy Survey reported that U.S. homeownership rates have declined to a 65.7% in the last quarter of 2023. Again, that is a direct result of the persistent tight housing supplies and the elevated mortgage interest rates. And as was mentioned before, prayerfully, the rates will go down lower as we get closer to the election, and that can help people purchase a little bit faster as well. So thank you. Next slide. And again, we are located physical offices in Georgia, East Point, that is our primary office, but we have a building rural borrower help center here in Mississippi, in Macomb. So we're situated in a good spot that we can provide counseling services to everyone. We do them virtually, via phone, or in person. It just depends on what works best for the participants. Of course, if they are out of state, they have the virtual or the telephone option. And again, all of the services that we do provide are at no cost to the participants. You can scan our QR code on the screen and it will take you directly to our website so that you can, at your leisure, read all of the services that we are able to provide. D&E's founder and CEO is Ms. Carrie Harris. She was the visionary for our agency to develop and empower the community. And Ms. Patrice Duncan, she is our Chief Operating Officer. They are both located in Georgia. And again, I'm located in rural Mississippi.
Awesome. Thank you so much for going through that. Again, there is one question that we didn't get a chance to address. And do you provide services in Spanish?
At the moment, we are seeking to hire a HUD certified bilingual specialist. So at the moment, we don't. But we have in the past, and that is something that is on our target goal to work on within the next month or so.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much. I know you touched a little bit on Credit Smart, which is our Freddie Mac financial capability tool. So I'm going to now do a deep dive into that. And good news is that our Freddie Mac Credit Smart is available in Spanish, and I'll be able to go through that. And I think that's why it's so uber important that you're using some of the services that D&E provides, is because, you know, you are still the real estate agent. This is still your client, and you still want to work with them. These are just tools and resources that are helping make homeownership possible for your clients. So we're going to do a deep dive into our Credit Smart financial information and how you as a real estate professional can use it, as well as helping your clients. Just a couple of reminders. We know that financial knowledge or lack of financial knowledge is, you know, a barrier to homeownership right now. You know, a lot of first-time home buyers are millennials right now, and even though they are very educated, they are not as financially savvy as prior generations, right? I will co-present with some of my baby boomer colleagues, and they'll share that when they were in high school, they got education around financial knowledge, right? We didn't get that when I went to high school. And so if it's if their parents aren't homeowners and they aren't actively teaching their children about sound financial decisions, a lot of adults are entering adulthood, kids are entering adulthood not really knowing how to manage their finances. This is where you as a real estate professional can use these resources to help guide your clients to make sure that they're using credit responsibly, or that they know where to go to get the tools to be able to do that. We also know that just information and understanding how to qualify for a mortgage, or just knowing about the homeownership journey, there's not a lot of resources out there. And as you know, you are the trusted advisor. A lot of people don't want to get scammed if they were to go online and trying to get information, right? So you are a trusted advisor. You want to make sure that you're using reputable resources and tools to help make sure that these clients aren't going to end up getting scammed, or you know, getting their information on, you know, some dark web, and they're getting robocalls about making sure that they, you know, hey, you're pre-qualified, right? They're coming to you to seek out the responsible resources that are really going to help them make this decision. And so we want to make sure that you understand how to utilize these tools. So with Credit Smart, it's all about empowerment through education, right? I think that this title is really what it is about. You as a real estate professional are here to gain information and insights. HAR is a great partner to provide education to you. You are that trusted advisor who's providing that education to your client, right? It's all on the homeownership journey. You are the trusted advisor. You're building that trust with them. You're providing the tools and resources that they can, you know, understand and take, and know that they are going to get important and adequate information out of it, right? We want to make sure that your clients have an understanding about the lending process, about their credit and debt, and these are tools that are going to help you do that, right? We are working together with you to empower your clients to be responsible, sustainable homeowners, and that's obviously going to start with their financial foundation. So here's a little bit of an overview of our Credit Smart suite, right? It's free financial capability and it's home ownership educational resources that's really designed to empower consumers to take ownership of their finances and empower them to understand the process. And ultimately, the end goal is to get into a home and become a homeowner. So there's 5 Credit Smart paths: Credit Smart Essentials, Credit Smart Multilingual, Credit Smart Homebuyer U. We also have a Credit Smart Coach and a Credit Smart Military module, because we know, understanding working with our military and veteran community, sometimes there's a different, you know, some nuances that go into that. And so you can divide these two or those 5 paths into kind of 2 sides of the house, is what we call it. So there's the financial capability part, and then there's the home ownership education part. You can pick and choose which resources you want to provide to your clients. And it's great because all of these are available online. And you can, you know, hold their hand and walk them through the process. You can send them to a HUD-approved housing counseling agency. They can get similar information, or you can kind of just, you know, have them go and do it on their own. So the Credit Smart Essentials, the Credit Smart Coach, the Military, and the Multilingual are all really teaching financial knowledge, skills, behaviors, habits, confidence, And then they have worksheets and tools, calculators to better understand the finances. The home ownership education part of it is you're probably familiar with first-time homebuyer products that might require homebuyer education. So when they seek and complete Homebuyer U, they do get a certificate that's good for a year that will go to their lenders like Brandon, who's then can kind of put that stamp of approval and say, yep, they did the education. They are knowledgeable about the home buying process. They understand about creating sustainable home ownership. They know what they're getting themselves into, becoming a homeowner. And again, best type of buyer to work with is an educated one. So it's just going to be a lot easier for them to understand the process because they've gone through and did the education. So let's take a deep dive into the Credit Smart Essentials part of it. So I think Credit Smart Essentials is for anybody who wants to understand and become better at managing their financial goals, right? They're going to learn about debt. They're going to learn about credit. They're going to learn about money management. Credit Smart Essentials is now available in Spanish. So we have a English version and a Spanish version. It's going to, help people understand all the ins and outs of being financially savvy, right? There's personal dashboards. They can start and stop whenever they want to. It's very user-friendly in the learning module. And Credit Smart has been around for over 20 years. It did recently go through, the Essentials part did go through a little bit of what we call a facelift. So all of the content and information in this is relatively new within the last couple of years. So, it's going to walk them through on how to get their credit report, how to read their credit report. There's videos, and it's really just great because it's self-paced. Going through the entire process probably takes about 8 hours. I recommend us, again, starting early. It's never too early to start, right? If you have a family member, a friend, or yourself have maybe a child who's about to go off to college in the fall, give them a summer project. Have them go through Credit Smart Essentials, right? Because they're going to be better prepared, right? You go into college and you might be given a credit card in case of emergencies, right? Now, we might define an emergency very different than somebody who's starting college, right? Their emergencies are very different. And so they want to make sure that they're using that responsibly, and Credit Smart is really going to help them do that. So from Credit Smart Essentials, there's 5 kind of learning paths. Set goals to guide. This is where they're going to understand and develop that mindset to achieve their financial goals. And that could be at any stage in life. Maybe they're just starting college and they want to, how to manage that student debt they're going to be taking on, or if student debt is something they even want to take on, right? Understanding that financial goal. Maybe somebody who's later in life is considering retirement now, right? And so what are they going to do, and what are their financial steps needed to make sure that they can still live off of any sort of retirement. So very important where they can kind of understand those goals. Maybe someone wants to start a small business, and what is that going to entail as far as their financial goals? Earn, then spend. Right? I think the most important thing that people need to understand is sticking to a budget, and not just a budget where you're tracking your expenses and your debts and whatnot, but also a savings plan, right? It's not just sticking to a budget, but you want to have some financial goals. And so Earn Then Spend is really going to help you understand your money and where it's going, and the power that it has once you create and stick to a budget. Being a savvy borrower is probably my favorite module. It's going to teach you about credit, how to eliminate your debt. It goes into your credit score, how to pool it, what to be aware of, right? I know a lot of times when people start their homeownership journey, the first thing they want to look at is what their credit is, right? Because they need to better understand if lender is going to give them a loan, right? Having obviously a higher credit score makes sometimes your mortgage rate to be lower. And so you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for that. And sometimes going through this process and understanding it in a matter of maybe 6 to 8 months, someone could, drastically increase their credit score, and it's going to make them better prepared to maybe take out that mortgage and start that process. Plan, then save, again, very similar to setting goals to guide, where they're planning to make sure that they have adequate for retirement and that they're being successful in making sure that they can reach those home ownership goals by saving for that down payment. Prepare and protect. It's all about sustainable home ownership, right? So we want to make sure that we're putting people in homes and they're saving those homes. You as a real estate professional, use some resources that you might have to better understand how you can be an advocate for your clients once they get into the home, how they can sustain that home, right? You're already giving them advice on the plumbers and the landscapers, the lenders to use, right? What about a financial planner, making sure that they understand how they can protect that asset and make sure that it stays within their family to start creating that generational wealth. Here is a testimonial that came from one of our nonprofit partners, right? It's really that, Credit Smart Essentials is effective financial resources that are helping, in this case, the veteran community, right? We know sometimes people are on fixed incomes. They might be working on disability incomes. I have a brother-in-law who had PTSD as part of the veteran community, and he is on a fixed income. And so I think it's important that, this education is teaching people, how to make sure that they can work on that sort of fixed budget. So a great testimonial, just giving kind of those causes that make sure that Credit Smart is something that is useful and valuable to those in the community and to your clients. The next one is the Credit Smart Homebuyer U. This is going to walk them through the home buying process. This is free education. This is also now available in Spanish. And this is, again, that certificate that they're going to get that's going to say, hey, this person's done their homebuyer education. If they're a first-time homebuyer, they're checking the box. They have a knowledge about what the process is. Homebuyer U takes about 3 hours. They can start and stop whenever they want. I think when I first took Homebuyer U, I actually took it on my phone. So if somebody is, on their lunch break and they want to pick it up on their phone and do a couple of 15 minutes and then go home and turn on their computer and maybe finish out that course, it's all, the same and very capable and user-friendly when it comes to that. They do have knowledge checks throughout the course, and at the end of it, they will be required to take some sort of exam in order to get that certificate. And again, that certificate is available for a good year. So a deep dive into Credit Smart Homebuyer U. Here are some of the learning modules. Understanding an introduction to the home buying process, right? We heard earlier about how just a lack of knowledge, they don't know where to start. They know that they're coming to a real estate agent because they know that this is going to be the largest transaction they're ever going to make in their entire lives. They want to know, they want to be with somebody who knows the process. And just going through this is probably going to help them maybe ask some questions that they might have been scared to ask, right? Or if somebody hasn't bought in maybe 10 to 15 years, have them go through the home buying process or Homebuyer U course again, because they might have forgotten what it was when they went through that the first time. Or maybe they have some, they didn't like the first time and they might need some pointers going to it. Managing your money. So it's taking a little bit of that Credit Smart Essentials and making sure that they understand what the lender is going to be using as they make the determination on what, how much money they want to lend to this particular home buyer. It does cover some of the mortgages options and some of the programs that are out there as far as products wise. Your credit, why it's important. Finding a home and closing a loan, right? So they are going to come to you. You are their trusted advisor. You are going to be guiding them in the process, but this is going to help better prepare them on inspectors and, what the appraiser is going to look like or what they're going to be requiring. I think especially for some of our underserved communities, there is a trust factor there. And so when somebody's saying, hey, I need all of your financial documents to, I'm going to give you a lot of money to buy this home. I want to make sure that what you're telling me is accurate. A lot of people are a little weary of handing over all of their financial documents, right? This will kind of set the stage on why they need to be able to do that. It's going to walk them through getting a mortgage and then again, that preserving home ownership, right? Because again, the last thing we want to do is, put them in a home that they ultimately can't stay in for the long run, right? We want to create clients for life. We want to create sustainable home ownership. It's not just about a transaction. It's about that longevity so that in maybe 5 to 10 years, they're coming back to you because now they're looking for either a second home. Maybe they're looking for an upgrade on their home. Maybe they're making that referral for one of their children who's now ready to purchase, right? Sustainable home ownership is obviously ultimately the goal. So again, this is a copy of what the certificate would look like. Again, it's good for about a year. It definitely aligns, it meets our seller servicer guide on what homeownership education requirement is if they wanted to use our Home Possible or Home One. If you want to deep dive into those products, I know a recording is available. We did a Home Possible Home One session earlier, or you guys could reach out to Brandon. I'm sure he can tell you about those opportunities as well. It aligns with the the national industry standards as homeownership education and counseling is required, right? The certificate's available for the English version right now, even if the course was completed in Spanish. So they can do both. Again, it's about 3 hours, and it's directly to the borrower or the housing professional and the lender after the course of it. So there are additional tools that Credit Smart offers, and so I'm going to go through those as well. And so the first one is our Credit Smart Coach. This is for you, the real estate professional, where you can become certified to teach Credit Smart essentials in your community, right? You are the trusted advisor. You're probably already hosting first-time homebuyer fairs. You're probably going into your community and working with maybe nurses or doctors or firefighters or police officers who might need a little bit of extra hand-holding when it comes time preparing for their homeownership journey. Credit Smart Coach is completely free to you. It's delivered currently right now through kind of a hybrid model where we're doing self-paced learning on your own, and then live webinars that you're required to participate in. All in all, it probably takes, we say it's about a 3-month cohort, and about 20 to 25 hours is committed. So kind of think about it as like a college course, right? You're doing your homework on your side, and then you're coming to class for those webinars, right? It's mandatory for you to complete everything in order to get your certification and then get access to all of the facilitator information. And your certificate is valid for 3 years. So once you become certified, you have access to all the information, and you can continue to teach all of the essential courses that we went, those 5 paths, over the course of 3 years, right? Here is a little bit of what the certification criteria is. You will be, as the first order of business is, you will be required to take Credit Smart Essentials yourself. And that is going to be the number one thing that you'll have to do, right? Knowledge is power. You'll understand what the attendees are going to be going through if you go through it yourself, right? There's different, tips and tricks and classes to take to kind of hone your facilitator skills. And then again, joining those live Q&A sessions. There is some homework we want to send you out. We want you to kind of research and understand where your buyers might be going to gain insights on what, financial capability resources are out there on the web. And then once you do all of that, you will take a quiz. And if you pass that quiz, you will be asked to complete a survey, and then you get access to all of the facilitator information, the worksheets, the glossaries, and then you get to be part of our Credit Smart facilitator and coach cohort, and there's a lot of resources where we put all of the coaches together. So if you want to go out and co-facilitate with another Freddie Mac Credit Smart coach, that's a great community that you can be involved in. So that maybe if you don't want to teach all 5, you want to become an expert in one, you can build a community of professionals that are helping all home buyers in different areas with the curriculum. In addition to that, we have the Credit Smart multilingual, right? We know that our diverse communities are definitely in need of a lot of in-language materials. Again, this is the biggest transaction they're going to be making, so we want to make sure we're providing it in multiple languages. I know that our team is working to hopefully overhaul some of these additional resources, just like they did Credit Smart getting their facelift. But right now you can go into our resource and get access to in-language materials in Korean, Chinese, Vietnamese, all consumer guides that are downloadable that you can print out and give to your clients. Again, that military module, I know that you guys are in the Texas market. You guys are probably working with a lot of people who are either Currently active duty, right? They don't get to pick and choose when they leave, and so the government kind of tells them when and where to go. And so sometimes even in this high interest environment, if the government says go, they have to sell their home. And if they want to purchase another one in a different area, obviously, they're obviously doing it at this high interest rate. And so working with our military community is obviously taking a different approach. Or there's some different tools that you might need as their trusted advisor. It does go into a little bit of detail about the VA loan benefits, financial preparement if, they are going to start seeking a deployment, and then how to protect yourself and to avoid identity theft or scams, right? I come from a military family. My dad used a VA loan to purchase his first home. I have two sisters, one in the Army and then one who's married to somebody in the Air Force. They both bought their homes using a VA loan. And they did it sight unseen, right? My sister moved from Italy to Alaska in December of 2022, and she bought her home without even having to step foot into it. So we know that that's becoming more common in this post-COVID environment. But, I can only imagine having to navigate a process with a purchaser who is living abroad, who is about to kind of move back to the United States. So definitely nuances there. And this is a great resource as we partnered with VA Rep, which is the Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals, to develop this curriculum. So very great and insightful in working with our military community. So I'm going to pause there, see if there is any additional questions, and then I'll close out with our resources here. Some of these resources might be familiar from some of our past webinars, but want to make sure that we are here. Okay, so the website. You just Google Freddie Mac Credit Smart. I will drop a link in the chat. All of this is going to be available to you after the event. So we'll make sure that you guys know exactly where to go to find out how to get all of this information. I think it's creditsmart.freddiemac.com, but we will make sure that you guys have a link to that, and you will get a copy of this presentation after the event. So again, just our resources are really designed to help you reach and educate more home buyers. We are, all of the tools that we provided today, again, are free to you, right? We want to be a resource. We can't sell anything. We're not trying to market to your buyers. We just want to make sure that we're providing tools and information that's going to help you prepare your home buyers, right? So this first one is My Home. This is a consumer-facing website. It has answers to common questions related to home ownership. I think that there's a lot of, unfortunately, scams out there. If you want a safe place where people aren't going to get bombarded with spam calls or emails, this is where you want to send them. There's no ads, so it's great because if you're with one company, don't think that there's another company who's advertising on this website. It has information if you want to compare renting to purchasing, if you want to refinance, if you're seeking a financial hardship, right? And again, there's no shame in that. We know life happens, but if you want resources, go to myhome.freddiemac.com. It has all the information that you might need, a safe place to send your buyers just to gain knowledge about that process. We also know that a lot of home buyers are seeking in-language material, right? This is going to be the biggest purchase they're going to make, and we want to make sure they're doing it in a language they trust. So we partnered with Fannie Mae and our regulator, FHFA, to create a clearinghouse of translated mortgage documents. I know that there are a lot of lender partners who also have some resources out there as well that are in language. So make sure you're seeking those out and gaining insights to make sure that you're providing it. These documents are translated into Spanish, Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean, and Tagalog. So a great understanding of the process. Highly recommend bookmarking this page because it is updated periodically. And again, our borrower help centers are here to help, right? A lot of what they do is free. And again, dispelling that myth that just because you send one of your clients there to start using the benefits, you still want to make sure you're following up with them. But if you are encountering a home buyer who might have, maybe need a little bit of hand holding, you don't want to tell them no, right? Because you want them to come back as a client. So providing resources. We also know that the home buying process is taking a little bit longer than it did before, right? There's not enough supply out there. And so it could be taking taking a long time, or people are getting discouraged. They're getting their offers aren't getting accepted, and they've put in so many offers, or maybe because the interest rates have gone up, they don't qualify anymore. But you want to keep that hope alive when it comes to this homeownership journey. So send them some resources, keep them engaged by, just more education. Because again, those are the deals that make it so much sweeter. Those ones that have put the time and effort into it, have created their savings plans, who have stuck to it. And those are the ones that are really helping you get those warm fuzzy feelings when they actually get the keys to the home, and they are now a new homeowner. Right here, this is, Freddie Mac is really big on education. So we do have a webinar series where we are covering some additional, educational things that might be relevant to you and your buyers. We have 2 coming up. Tuesday, July 9th, we're going to be talking about ADUs, accessory dwelling units. And then in August, we're going to be talking about manufactured homes. Manufactured homes are a great alternative to site-built homes. They are definitely, I think, breaking ground in the way they look. You can't even tell that they're manufactured homes compared to site-built homes. They're built cheaper, faster, and I think that they're a great alternative for people who are trying to get into the home buying market right now, who might want to do it at a lower price level, right? It doesn't have to be forever, right? If people want to come in and this might be their first home, people don't stay in their first home forever, right? And so if they want to use this as a way to kind of come in, and ease into home ownership at a little lower rate, and then in a few years, right, they move into another home. But this is a great way for them to kind of get their feet wet in the home buying process. We also, again, want to be providing you insights on what Freddie Mac is doing, utilization of our tools, resources, the latest news and insights. This is our Real Estate Professionals Resource Center. So if you want to know, get signed up for when the next cohort of the Credit Smart Coach is going to go live, this is where you want to go. Sign up to be part of our housing professionals. That way, when the new cohort is announced, you'll get a link to register, and you'll be able to get onto that list to reap the benefits of becoming a Credit Smart Coach. This is great because we have market insights and quick newsread articles. They can be directly shared to your social media pages. That way, when when someone's scrolling your news feed, you are that trusted advisor. Hey, she's always sharing, or he's always sharing, the latest and greatest from Freddie Mac. They must really know what's going on in the housing industry, right? That's somebody that I trust. That's the person that I'm going to go to with all of my housing needs. So bookmark this page and check it periodically, because obviously we're always coming out with new things here at Freddie Mac. So I am going to go ahead and stop now and see if there's additional credit. Okay, let's see questions here. Came late. This is recording. The PowerPoint will be sent afterwards. Absolutely. Brandon's letting you guys all know that they also do manufactured housing loans. And someone already went to the website, and apparently it needs to be updated with the Credit Smart Coach cohort. Yes. So right now, we are revamping that. So I can definitely bring that to our attention on the back end for our team. But sign up for the Reps Resource Center, because when that site is updated, that is you'll get an email when it is going to be live. Awesome. I'll go ahead and stop sharing. And Mary Angie, I don't know if you guys have any closing remarks, or if there's any additional resources, or if Brandon wanted to come on and talk about manufactured housing. I'll leave it up to you guys.
Absolutely. I want to see if Brandon has any closing comments about that.
Yeah, I'll just quickly say, we do all types of manufactured barndominium, single wide, double wide. So as Monica was saying, I mean, the rules surrounding those types of home ownerships have really changed in the last couple of years as what they used to be. Used to be really few lenders would lend on those, and they had pretty strict regulations on like what they would lend on and how old they had to be and all that type of stuff. But I would say the average price right now of a double wide mobile home is, if you haven't checked it, it's pretty nice. I mean, they're probably around $200,000 or something like that. So, as Monica alluded to, I mean, it is a great potential option, especially in areas in Texas to where you want a little bit of property. So at the end of the day, we do all of those, and I'm happy to provide any information that I can if anybody has any questions at all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brandon, and thank you so much, Monica and Kayera. Thank you so much for being here today, for informing our members, and thank you, our members, for being here and getting informed for you and your clients. This is such a powerful series that we started back in January, and we have another webinar on July based on AI and how is AI affecting affordable housing. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. It's a very important webinar that we like to spread the word. As much as AI is very helpful, it can be very damaging when it comes to fair housing. So we want to make sure that you will stay informed in that. That is going to happen on July 31st. And the link to that to sign up is in the chat. Again, this webinar was being recorded, and we're going to share a copy of the recording as long as the slide as well with you via email. If you register for this webinar, that means I have your email. So I will make sure to send that to you. Any other comments from our speakers today? Okay, thank you very much, you guys. I wish you a very happy weekend, and I will see you in the next webinar. Thank you so much.